If I invited you on a trip where you could spend half a week with friends, camp by beautiful lakes, and explore an awe-inspiring mountain wilderness, would you be down? But if I told you that to earn those views, you had to leave the comforts of home behind, hike to the point of exhaustion every day, and haul all your possessions up a literal mountain and back, would you still be game? In August of 2017, 4 of us decided to hike the Rae Lakes Loop in the Sierra Nevada mountains of California. The Rae Lakes Loop is a 40-mile loop in Kings Canyon National Park. It delves deep into the Sierra backcountry, passing through dense forests, across pristine mountain streams, up high mountain valleys, and around stunning alpine lakes. Oh, and don't forget over a 12,000-foot pass. From start to finish, the trail gains and loses 8,000 feet, equivalent to up and down the Empire State Building about 6 times. Planning to complete our hike in 4 days, we packed away everything we'd need to spend the better part of a week in the backcountry. Though we all had experience with smaller trips before, this would be our biggest so far. Trevor, Joe, James, and Reno. 4 guys with 2 tents and 1 great journey ahead of us. The trail began as a nice walk along the floor of Kings Canyon. The bugs relentlessly followed, and we sought the shelter of our mosquito nets. Short-lived was the flatness of the trail, and it quickly gained elevation to reveal the towering granite walls of the canyon. Joe ended up rolling his ankle pretty early on. The solution? Walk it off for the next 38 miles. Living up to its name, Mist Falls doused us with a rejuvenating breeze. From there, the trail relentlessly gains. Carrying 45 pounds of food, water, and gear over 10 miles a day turned out to be more taxing than I expected. Go figure. While we dripped with sweat, the mountains prescribed us with much-needed breaks amongst cold, translucent streams. The forest changed and views opened to the north as we approached our first camp. Joe and James had the courage to take a dip in the freezing rapids. Me, on the other hand, I was fine with just getting my feet wet. The day's 9 miles and 2,000 feet of gain hit us all harder than expected. This wasn't good news. Our next day of hiking would entail 13 miles and 3,500 feet of up. What did we get ourselves into? Exhausted as we were, a good camp dinner and fire restored us to humanity. Day 2 started with a log crossing over the Kings River. The previous winter's high snowpack and river flow had knocked the bridge off its foundations. From there, it was walking, and more walking. At the brink of the High Sierra, we came to sweeping views of Castle Dome's meadow and neighboring peaks. But there was no time for loiter, as our destination still lay 10 miles away and thousands of feet above our heads. Shortly after lunch, we met up with some trail named after some guy. Onward and upward it was as we grew weary from the exertion. Each one of us questioned why we were doing this to ourselves. It was at this point we began to miss our wives and families back at home. Except Trevor. He isn't married. Pushing through the pain, we were rewarded with grand vistas of mighty peaks to the north. After slogging up countless granite steps, we finally reached 10,000 feet. And you know what? I felt great. I'm pretty sure the rest of the group thought I was either crazy or on cocaine. Really though, the lack of oxygen probably made my body forget about all the pain it was in. But from here, the views only got better. Reaching the first of the lakes was like entering a wonderland. We decided that 11 out of 13 miles was good enough and pitched camp with the deer at Arrowhead Lake. A good dinner amongst sublime mountain views once again nursed our tired spirits and bodies back to life. It's amazing what a good night's rest can do for your body. Resurrected in the high mountain paradise, our previous days of hard work had paid off. Now, it was time to just soak it all in. Rae Lakes was straight out of a dream, but all too soon were our blissful wanderings through paradise completed, and it was time to work again. Glen Pass wasn't going to climb itself, and its summit lay 1,500 feet above us. Halfway up, you're staring at this wall of rock insurmountably bigger than you. Your legs are tired, your feet ache, you're panting and out of breath. At any moment, the weather could take a turn for the worse. You genuinely question whether you have it in you to get to the top. These journeys often become a mental and emotional battle as much as they are a physical one. Continuing would guarantee pain, struggle, and intimidation. But having come this far, there was no way we weren't reaching that summit. And by just putting one foot in front of the other, we made it to the crest of our voyage. A short lunch break later, it was high time we trek onto camp. After all, we did have 7 more miles of business to attend to, but from here, it was all downhill. By now, I was well into a hiking groove, and keeping up a steady pace became second nature. My mind was clear and the miles cruised on by. Granite domes, lush forests, and towering mountain peaks, our last leg along the John Muir granted us with one sweeping vista after another. Bidding farewell to the JMT, we started our descent back into Kings Canyon. The forest thickened and the light grew golden as the trail offered some intimate last miles for the day. Having taken enough punishment by day 4, we just wanted to knock out our hike and get home, and thankfully, gravity was our ally the rest of the way down. Swiftly losing elevation into the canyon, the bugs were very happy to see us again. In no time, we were almost at the canyon floor. So, what did I learn from my biggest backpacking trip so far? To be honest, it was a lot more than I had expected. I've backpacked the High Sierra before, carried a heavy pack, and hiked well over 10 miles in a day, but not all at the same time. and this journey was certainly more than the sum of its parts. I realized too that I didn't really enjoy making miles day in and day out, but not actually because of the physical exertion. Instead, it was because I wanted to spend more time enjoying the places I had spent that much effort getting to. Time to wander, meander, and saunter through the mountains. Time to get to know such an amazing place a bit more intimately than making it a pit stop on a journey to constantly make miles. So, 4 guys, 40 miles, and 8 very sore feet later, would we all really do this again? Well, give us some time to forget the pains, romanticize it a little bit, and heck yeah, we'll be back out there. But maybe next time, with a little bit more saunter in the schedule as well.